Welcome to the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon series. I'm your host, Captain Matt, and today we're talking about winterization for stern drives and the mistakes that many new boaters and even experienced boaters make. So, here's what we're going to talk about. Not winterizing, what the issue is and why winterizing is important. Winterizing the wrong way, what winterization is and what it is not, because there's a lot of confusion even amongst experienced boaters and people in the same area about what winterization is, and especially if you talk to a dealer or a technician, and then other tips and pointers for new owners. We're brought to you by the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit. You can claim your free copy at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. It's going to give you checklists, questions to ask, how to maximize your trade. There's a couple free videos that you can only get when you get the toolkit, as well as a ownership calculator to calculate the true cost of boat ownership. So let's talk about what winterization is and what it is not. The definition of winterization can be as simple as just getting the boat ready for freezing temperatures. And by doing that, it is getting all of the water out of the system, out of the engine block. Because what happens to water when it freezes? Well, from sixth grade science class, it expands by about 10% in volume, and that expansion can cause a crack and cause major damage in the engine block or the components of the engine. That can result in repair costs of $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 to replace an engine, and it's as simple as getting that water out on a MerCruiser as taking out 5 little plastic plugs or more plugs, and maybe turning a little valve, and getting that water out of the system. Now, here's the problem with doing just the bare minimums is there's other things that I believe should be involved in winterization, and we'll go through those step by step and then go through what issues can happen. The first is when you just pull the plugs, if you don't have your boat at the right angle, it's sitting on the trailer in the wrong angle or on the lift at the wrong angle, water can stay in that engine block. It can stay in the system, and what can happen then is if there's water in the system, it's going to freeze and it can expand, or it's going to freeze and expand, and it can cause damage to internal components of your engine. So the recommendation, if you're in a freezing climate where it's going to get below 32 degrees for an extended period of time, or if it's going to get below 30 degrees for more than 24 hours, is kind of the unwritten rule. I would say if it's going to be anywhere near freezing, you need to do this step, and that is to run an antifreeze through the entire system. You can see in that middle picture the pink antifreeze. It's a marine grade biodegradable antifreeze that you run through the system. You bring the boat up to temperature, you run it through by hooking it up to earmuffs, which go through the water intake. It runs through the whole system, and you run it until that pink antifreeze fluid has gone through the entire system and is coming back out the exhaust. Now, the reason you do that is it also has, not only do you know for sure that all of the water is out of the system, but you also have that anti-corrosive antifreeze in there that is good down to, there's different levels of it, but down to like 100 degrees below zero. It's not going to freeze, essentially. So that's kind of the next step up. But there also, you've got to remember that in addition to freeze damage, the boat is going to sit for an extended period of time, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. So there's a couple of other systems that you need to think about. One is the fuel system. You need to be aware that gas can go bad as you let it sit. So treating the fuel system, and we'll talk about ethanol and how bad that can be to let that sit in your fuel tank and in your fuel lines and the whole fuel system. The next is the internal components of the engine. An engine is made to be run to have that oil go through the system and lubricate and prevent corrosion. Well, when your boat's going to sit for 3 or 5 or 6 months, it's not moving. Those parts can get corroded, they can seize up. Bad things can happen to mechanical pieces when they're not run. So fogging the engine or lubricating those internal components, whether it's a carbureted engine or whether it's a fuel injected engine, is a key component to what I believe should be done in a complete winterization, because most mechanical issues that happen on a boat come from lack of maintenance. It's not that you should have chose a Volvo or you should have chose a MerCruiser. Heck, for a number of years they were the exact same engines, a GM block. They just marinized them differently, and they had different lower units. But the bottom line is, it's that lack of maintenance or improper maintenance that causes most mechanical issues on most boats. So doing that engine fogging or that lubricating of the internal components is key. The next is, while you're putting it away, go ahead and change the oil and the oil filter in that engine, as well as changing the gear lube and potentially the impeller if it needs it. These are all things that can keep your boat running in great shape year after year after year. And I lump them into winterization terminology because it's just sort of that all-encompassing annual service / winterization / standard maintenance or recommended maintenance. I lump it all in together because it's real easy to do right at the end of the season. Do it all at once, as well as some other things that we're going to talk about. I'm curious, if you're already a boat owner, what are some winterization mistakes that you've made or tips that you have for winterization? We're going to talk about some, and at the end I would love to hear any questions that maybe we didn't get. So we talked about the main thing with winterization is getting the boat ready for freezing temperatures. What happens is this right here, and this is a minor crack in the block. You see that's about a 2-inch crack, and when that water expands, it's gonna crack. You can see in the top left, you can see that little blue freeze plug, so you can see the scale of this image. But that's a catastrophic issue that is going to be, I guess you could slap some JB Weld on there and hope for the best, but this is an engine that's going to need some major repair, if not replacement. So if that's the only thing that's going on with it, oftentimes there's other issues. If that water is frozen and expanded, there can be other issues as well. So that is the main part of winterization, and why you need to do it, and why if you let your buddy do it that says, oh, I can do that for you, and he leaves some water in that system, or he doesn't get the antifreeze all the way through the system, or he doesn't let it warm up to temperature so that thermostat kicks in and opens up the intake to get all the way through the system, that can be a very expensive mistake that, you were trying to save $150, $200, $500, and it ends up costing you thousands of dollars. So I encourage you to go through the entire process, and let's look at some of the issues that come. So the first one we'll look at is fuel. Fuel is a major thing that's overlooked when putting the boat away, especially if you're putting ethanol into your boat fuel tank. I'm going to encourage you to put 100% gasoline in your fuel tank. You still need to treat it, but the repercussions are a lot less if it's straight gasoline. It just may go bad, and you may have to boost the octane and treat it with a stable type product. But when you leave that ethanol in the system and run that through your system, you can get what in the top left is called varnishing, where it leaves kind of a deposit on the inside of the carburetor, on the inside of the internal components of that engine, because ethanol is 90% gas and 10% ethyl alcohol, and that ethyl alcohol is where the major issue is. And there's recently been some legislation that they're going to allow E15, which is 15% ethyl alcohol, versus the E10, which is common at most pumps. So if you can only get the ethanol blend, and you've looked everywhere for 100% straight fuel, make sure that you're putting that treatment in there, because the next thing that can happen is called phase separation, where the ethyl alcohol attracts water. It will, I don't know what the scientific term is, but it attracts water into the fuel, and that fuel and water, it can cause a separation of the ethyl alcohol and the fuel. That separation, once it happens, it's unable to come back together, to combine. And when you run that through your fuel system, it can cause major issues. So you can imagine, if you've got a full tank of fuel, which you should put your boat away with the full tank of fuel if it has a permanent tank. If it has a removable tank, remove the tanks, run it into your lawnmower, your weed eater, or whatever, or dispose of it in some way. But you want to make sure that you avoid that phase separation, because that can cause major problems where you have to have your fuel tank pumped and get that out of there, because you certainly don't want to run that through your fuel system. It will cause major damage. The other thing that can happen is that ethyl alcohol, it can kind of congeal and gel into the fuel lines, and it's also notorious for eating the interior of the fuel line. So everything looks fine, soft and supple from the outside, but on the inside, that ethyl alcohol is eating away the fuel lines, causing major problems. And you certainly don't want to leave that in the lines over the winter. So if you can, put the fuel treatment in, run that fuel treatment through so it gets all the way through the entire components of the fuel system, including that fuel line. And then what's even better is if you have the ability to disconnect the fuel line, run that engine dry so you run all of the fuel out of it, get all of the fuel out of those fuel lines, and that can avoid some of these issues. Sometimes that's not a possibility, but it's really the best way to go if you can do it. The next thing you want to check in that process, if you leave the boat in the water, is check your zincs or your anodes. Those are the sacrificial metals that are on the lower unit, so that if you leave it in the water, it attacks those sacrificial metals instead of corroding and attacking the lower unit, causing pitting, causing damage, and potentially some major repairs if you need a new gear case. That exterior part that kind of covers up all of the gears and components of that lower unit. Another very overlooked area in the winterization process is dealing with the battery. Leaving your battery hooked up in your boat over the wintertime is a surefire way to have that battery go dead and reduce the life of it. At a minimum, you want to disconnect the terminals and make sure that battery is not having any juice drawn from it. Even the bilge pump or the radio or any of the electronics are pulling a small amount from the battery throughout the wintertime, and that will kill a battery dead and reduce the life. The best thing to do, if possible, is to pull your battery or batteries out, put them on a trickle charger at home, and you don't want to just set it on the cement floor. You want to make sure that you put it up on maybe some 2x4s and get it off that cold ground. That is going to be the absolute best way to store your batteries for the wintertime. Then once you've got most of the mechanical things done, get that boat cleaned up, detailed, buffed and waxed if you want to, but certainly clean the inside. Make sure that inside is clean and make sure that inside is dry. Remove all of your gear, remove the life jackets, the dock lines, and store that all away. Maybe even get it all out and put it in some plastic totes if you want to leave it in the boat, but get it out of those storage compartments so everything is perfectly dry, because if it's not, you can get mold and mildew, and you can get you can really damage the interior of your boat. You uncover it, and lo and behold, a couple of those warm days got that mold and mildew going, and now you've got a giant mess on your hands. The other thing that you'll want to do is when you store the boat, especially if you store it outside, is to make sure you store that lower unit in the down position, the all the way down position. That's going to collapse those bellows, which are these rubber pieces that really keep your boat from sinking. Anywhere where there's lines running from inside the boat to the lower unit, those bellows are going to keep water from getting in. They're little rubber pieces, kind of like an accordion, and you want those collapsed so that they're not stretched out, and that's going to shorten the life of them. Especially if you leave your boat in the water, those bellows can sink your boat in a hurry, and it's one of the major causes for boats sinking that are left in the water. The other reason why you put the lower unit all the way down is, if you can see by the angle, if it's in this up position, water can gather in that prop. We already know that when water freezes, it's going to expand, and it can tear up the gears, ruin the prop hub, and ruin some of the gears in that lower unit. So you want to tilt that all the way down, and another best practice is to put a plastic bag around that and tape that on. What that's going to do is keep water from getting in there at all, and it's also going to be a good indication that that the boat's been winterized. It's very common to see that done at marinas and dealerships in the freezing climates. When you put the boat away, you also want to make sure that not only is it completely dry in the engine compartments and the storage lockers and the ski lockers under the seats. I encourage you to prop those up, to open them up. If they've got a gas assist, they'll stay open. Pull those cushions off and just kind of let it breathe, so that if any moisture does get in that boat, it can kind of move around, and it's not trapped and gonna cause that mold and mildew to start. It's also a great idea to put some drying agent in the boat itself. So that could be, a little bag that you get from West Marine that's specifically made for boats. On the cheap end, you can put some kitty litter into a plastic tub, and put that in a few places throughout the boat. But that is all done to protect the interior of your boat that's already clean, already dry, but as moisture and condensation form, it is going to be helpful there if there's a high level of humidity. And then putting the cover on, and tucking the boat away. Couple of things here. When you can shrink wrap it, which is really the best way to go, but if you're going to store it outside, put that lower unit down, shrink wrap it, and you're ready to go. But remember a couple of things. One is that snow and rain can pool in just a regular tarp, and it can really stretch it out as well as pull it off. If your boat's in a storage lot, somewhere that you don't see every day, it's real easy for that snow and that rain to pool up, get on that cover, and either pull it in or rip it or cause damage. And now the inside of your boat is exposed to the elements. And if it's going to be there for a while, you've got some major issues. So really think about how you're going to cover it up, whether you're going to park it inside in a barn or a shed, you're going to put it in a storage facility, or you're going to leave it outside, maybe put it under a cover, or at a minimum, kind of build a little frame inside that boat to support the, it could be by 2x4s, it could be out of PVC pipe, but it's going to support that tarp so all the snow and the water kind of flows off of it, and you're not going to have that heavy weight. You're not going to damage your cover and maybe destroy your interior by exposing it to the elements. Another thing that can happen that a lot of first-time boaters don't realize until it does, or they hear a story, are critters love to get into boats so they can stay warm. And what they do is they start chewing through your upholstery, and they dig out all of the foam, and they make their little nest, and they have a nice warm place for the winter to hide in a covered, dry area. When you open the boat up for the spring, you find that there's a critter in there that has pooped all over the place, chewed up your upholstery, and it's a huge, giant mess. So I encourage that if you're in that area, mothballs, or to use other ways to reduce the chance that critters are going to get in your boat and make that their home for the winter. So those are all of the things that you want to look at for winterization. It's more than just draining the water out of the boat. And again, the better you maintain your boat, the better your boat's going to treat you throughout the season, the more fun you're going to have, and the less headaches you're going to come across. So If you enjoyed this video, we would love a thumbs up. If you have questions or other comments, we'd love to see those. I respond to each one of those. Grab your toolkit if you're in the market, and YouTube has recommended a few other videos for you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell so you receive the notifications when new videos come out. We're adding more and more videos all the time, so be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.